channel. My name is Kara and this is Kara's Style, where I share with you my upcycling journey and low-waist lifestyle. And in today's video I am showing how to use a duplicate stitch in your knitwear to write out a word, your name. It could be used for any creative idea that you have with your knitwear. Your sweater, yarn that matches the gauge of the sweater as much as possible, yarn needle, scissor, and a water-soluble pen. The water-soluble pen is what I'm using to write the word that I chose, and I chose the word kind. And so this is a great pen because it's water soluble. Once you write it down and you wash your sweater, the blue is gonna go away. Now what I do is thread my needle. One of my tricks is to cut the end of the yarn in an angle to make it easier to insert in the eye of the needle. So now what I do is that from the back, and by the way, I am not knotting the tail, sort of like a medium to short tail in the back, I bring it from the inside of the point of the knit. So you slide your needle to the other side in the back, right above the stitch that you're covering. Of the stitches, like the V above the point. Then I bring it back down inside here, right here, that stitch. You want to bring it right in the middle. Your needle is underneath the stitch and the stitch is above. And you bring it up, you pull your yarn, and that's going to create the first V of your stitches. Now I repeat the process. I take the needle, the stitch, the V above, I put it through those two stitches, right there, those two stitches. And then I'm going to take my yarn, pull it. This is almost creating like a loop to create the duplicate stitch, because pretty much what the duplicate stitch is doing is recreating that V shape of the knit stitch. And so I bring it from the bottom like that. This stitch, what you're doing is you're covering that knit stitch above and putting this new thread on top of it. As you can tell, my yarn that I'm using is not exactly the same yarn. It's a little bit thinner, so the gauge is thinner. It's not as thick as like the one on the sweater, and that's why there are some like small gaps that are left after duplicating the stitch above the knit stitch. But when you bring the yarn through and you duplicate it, it's not as noticeable. And when I say gauge of the yarn, I'm talking about the weight. So you want it to be the same weight in order for the stitches to look as similar as the original sweater, which makes it look more consistent. So when you move over to create the duplicate stitch, it's in an angle. Imagine like your hand sewing. You want to bring the needle over, you repeat this. So it's pretty much the same process of duplicating the stitch, but in the back you move it over and bring it up the next row to recreate the duplicate stitch, and continue this process until filling in all of the letters in your word. Then the last thing to do is sew in the tails in the back. So remember, I didn't knot in the back. I did not knot. What I did was leave sort of like a short to medium length tails, and then I sew them in. I create a small back stitch in order to secure that it does not unravel. We do not want it to unravel after all that effort. So take your time, sew all of those tails in, and it's gonna look this clean. And now you're ready. It came out exactly as I wanted, and it's so cute. It could be your name, a word that means something to you, anything. And you can also embroider daisies. You can and stay tuned because December is almost here. It is a series of back-to-back tutorials where I share with you DIY ideas that you can do to transform your clothes, like make those old clothes fun again, shine, revamp, to make cool, fun, and creative. The whole process of a slow fashion journey is also exploring your creativity, your self-expression. And so here in Kara's Style, I am here just to provide you the motivation, skills, and materials to get you started in your slow fashion journey. See you next time.